So, The Wkndeddd made a movie, and I need to talk about it.
I just hope this film surprises me in the best ways.
Wait, what
is Charlie D'Amelio doing in this movie?
Go blunt rotation.
Jar Jar Binks.
It is easily the worst film of the year right now.
Shut the f up! Shut the f up! Shut up! What are you doing? What the f are you doing?
The Wkndeddd, also known as Abel, has dabbled in acting before with his role as Tedros in The Idol, a HBO series, which follows Joycelyn, a pop singer, who starts up a romance with Tedros, a club owner, and a cult leader. I mean, I haven't watched the show, okay? I have to admit, I haven't watched the show, but I feel like I've watched enough videos about this show that I know what this show is about. The show definitely was not received with the best reviews or feedback, and at the time of release back in 2023 it was all over the internet. The Idol was everywhere. Everyone wanted to talk about it, everyone wanted to share their opinions on it, and most of those opinions weren't coming from a place of enjoyment. But mostly The Wkndeddd is known for his music, being one of the biggest pop stars in the world. I mean, at the moment I think he's the third biggest streaming artist on Spotify with 115 million monthly listeners. So it's fair to say that he definitely doesn't need to do acting, but it's not surprising that The Wkndeddd is really interested in making TV shows, movies, and playing characters, as his videos have always been very, very experimentative with visuals and storylines and characters. So, on February 28th, 2023, it was revealed by Deadline that The Wkndeddd was working on a new film. But it was only announced a few months ago that the film was going to be called Hurry Up Tomorrow, and that it was a psychological thriller, with The Wkndeddd also planning to release an album along with the film by the same name. So the announcement was definitely received with mixed emotions, we can say, from people who had a bit of a sour taste in their mouth from The Idol, and other people being really excited about this project. With a release date of this Friday, May 16th, 2025. So get nice and comfortable as we dive into this story. Oh, but you can't, because your chair is falling apart. Well, today's sponsor FlexiSpot can help you with that. When it comes to chairs, we often forget about our own discomfort by not having the proper support our body needs. We will be going through the reasons why you should prioritize your comfort, and more importantly, how the C7 Air can help you do so. The C7 is a versatile, customizable chair which you can have in multiple modes. Office mode, locking the backrest at 93 degrees with a latex padded seat and adapter lumbar support. Relaxation mode, as the chair has a 4-level lockable backrest with a maximum recline of 128 degrees, and if you get it with a pull-out footrest, which isn't common in most other major brands, it can help you relax after a long day. It also comes with an adjustable seat depth, 3D headrest adjustment, and seat height adjustment. One of the reasons that I love this chair so much is that you can have 4 different chairs in one chair. Depending on my mood, I can change the setup of the chair completely. Also, by purchasing the C7 Air or other products by FlexiSpot, you would be supporting ethical standards of production, fair work environments, and funds for work-family healthcare. FlexiSpot offers a 30-day return policy, 10-year warranty, making sure that you have the best support and experience possible. FlexiSpot is having a brand day sale now, and up to 60% off on the website. Don't miss the big save and use my code BRANDDAY30 for 30% off. I'm very thankful that FlexiSpot sent me their C7 Air. I was in need of a new chair as my mum had stolen mine. So click the link in the description and get the C7 Air for yourself. So what is the movie about? Now, it's very hard to find what the film is about because they've kept this under lock and key, like better than Marvel. I don't know what sort of media training these guys have done, but you cannot find barely anything about this film. So, from what I've gathered, this is what the film is about. The film stems from an experience The Wkndeddd had, which inspired him into making a movie about it. Bringing in Trey Edward Schultz, who is most known for Waves and It Comes the Night, who would go on to co-write the film with him and direct the picture. The Wkndeddd leads the film by playing Abel, in which they both have the same name, by also describing the character as being a version of himself. This is confirmed by Schultz saying, "I feel like we created a character that isn't exactly him, but it's honest to his soul and what he could have been if things went differently in life. I think his character is in need of self-reflection. He's kind of at a crossroads in his life." Abel is a musician plagued by his insomnia who embarks on a surreal journey with a mysterious stranger named Anima, who begins to unravel the core of his very existence. Schultz said, "It's about an artist who you could say on the verge of a mental breakdown. He meets this woman and they go on this odyssey together. It's a mix of psychological thriller and drama. I honestly feel like I've never seen a movie quite like it." The Wkndeddd also revealed to the fader that he has suffered and experienced sleep paralysis, and it also played a major role in the movie Hurry Up Tomorrow. There are no antagonists in this film, he said. I think the sleep paralysis is an enemy. One of the main concepts of this film is sleep paralysis. That is something that I was really dealing with, still am to this day. Not as much as before, but they're very vivid nightmares, where you're in bed and you're half asleep and half awake, he explained. You are aware of your surroundings, but you can't move. You're paralyzed for almost a minute. Sometimes you see a shadowy figure in the corner, and you hear voices. Sweet nothings. It's saying nothing, but they're voices. He also talks a lot more about his sleep paralysis if you want to go and look that up. Now, the promotion of this film has been very interesting, and it's mainly coming from The Wknd. With recently being a locked Instagram reel where you have to type in a key to actually watch the reel thing. I didn't even know you could do this, but you can. And he did it. Also, for so long, The Wknd has been so mysterious with never really doing any interviews or talking publicly. So the recent press run has actually been really interesting and cool, seeing him talk about his projects and expressing his feelings, which is really unlike anything we have seen him do before. And you can generally see the care and passion that he has for the industry. Going back to the reel is a clip of the movie where Abel is losing his voice, and he is learning that it is due to a psychological condition and not a physical one. It is thought that the clip is to be inspired by The Wknd's real life when he was forced to cancel a show in California in September 2022 as he was losing his voice whilst performing Can't Feel My Face.
It just happened when I screamed, but I just lost my voice. This is killing me. I don't want to stop the show, but I can't give you the concert that I want to give you right now.
There are 2 trailers for this film so far. The first was released on February 4th, 2025, and the second one was released April 2nd, 2025. It opens with Anima pouring gasoline over a home, and it ends with her holding up a lighter to The Wknd's crying face as he is gagged and held hostage. You're hurting yourself and you're hurting everyone around you. Something has to change, she tells him. The rest of the clip shows The Wknd spiraling out of control with drugs and alcohol while on tour, and it seems to be a metaphor that The Wknd is trying to portray by showing that the course of his artistic project that is now coming to an end. With the film being thought to be the end of his trilogy, tying up the last 2 albums that he has made. Abel has also talked about retiring the Wknd persona and stepping more into Abel.
Shedding the Wknd and this persona that we all know and we love and have experienced for so long. Who is this Abel stepping into the next chapter? Like, what are you excited for the world?
I'm excited. I don't know. It's kind of taking it day by day right now. I can't completely be gone because I'm on a tour right now. So
the album tied to the film was released earlier this year, and contrary to popular belief, the film was made before the album and not the other way around. The music has been described as another character in the film that helps guide and tell the story. The album was released January 31st, 2025 and received great reviews, so whether the film does well or not, the album has already been very successful. Schultz has said that the film isn't going to be just for The Wknd fans, and that they've tried to make this an experience for an audience who would have no idea who The Wknd even is. So now that we've got all that out of the way, let's move on to the cast. Jenna Ortega, who is most known for her roles in Wednesday, Beetlejuice, is playing Anima. Anima, who is thought to be an obsessed stranger/fan, is the core reason of Abel's unraveling. Speaking about her role, Jenna Ortega said, "It was my understanding while shooting that my character, Anima, is a version of Abel, a side of him that the persona, The Wknd, doesn't show as much. There were many alterations of Ali as the new script drafts came in, but I just loved that she constantly took no shit and felt everything intensely." Next we have The Wknd. Now, as we talked about before, this is definitely not the first thing The Wknd has been acting in, and when asked about how much he learnt or if he learnt anything from The Idol, The Wknd said, "I mean, naturally you learn. That was the first thing we had ever done. You always learn. You're working with great artists at the time, and I'm still very close to everyone from that set, but it was a learning experience."
This had a little bit more joy making it, felt a little bit more personal. Idol didn't really feel like mine at the time. This one felt very much personal, and I'm saying this now, Trey really brought that, and Jenna, of course, brought the joy back in filmmaking. I'm like, hey, I do want to do this. This is great.
So it'd be interesting to see how his performance is in this film, and when looking at his music videos and his stage presence, it's very clear that he can express emotion and show that he is able to play characters and act. Barry Keoghan, that might be pronounced really wrong, I'm so sorry, who we all know from Saltburn and is playing the new Ringo Starr in the Beatles biopic. Barry is playing Lee, who is thought to be Abel's manager, or a friend that is trying to support Abel. But we don't really know much about his character yet, so it's very hard to say. So the last casting that is kind of announced is Charlie D'Amelio.
What the fuck is Charlie D'Amelio doing in this movie?
It is listed on the casting that Charlie's going to be in this film, but I don't really know. It is thought to that she will be in the film as a possible fan or a dancer. So, what are people's reactions to this? Naturally, a lot of discourse about how people are just thinking it's going to be like The Idol, with people saying that they trust the director a lot more, so it's likely that it won't be like The Idol. Someone wrote this, which I think is a great point to express. It just sucks that a lot of people know him for The Idol and that's it. Yes, that was bad, but that's not his only visual. The music videos for this new trilogy have generally been so cool and generally kind of groundbreaking, and so different than any other big artist. He's been telling a story in so many different ways. He's done it through live action, animated, stop motion, and even some live performances, all being a part of the overarching Wkndeddd story. His ideas and choices of directors and cinematographers is awesome. The use of colours and surreal visuals is generally so cool, and I have a lot of hope for this movie, though I can see not many people getting the vision. And maybe it would be bad, but I think people need to stop going into it so negatively. I just wanted to add in here, whilst editing this video, there's already been some reviews of the film, and it seems to be quite split, with people expressing how the storyline is empty and self-obsessed, with others praising the visuals and the meaning behind it. It currently has a 16 credit score and 75% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, so I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this ends up panning out over the next couple days. If you do want me to watch the movie and give my thoughts on it, let me know in the comments below and I can see about possibly doing that in another video. So, the conspiracy theory.
This is loosely a remake of Misery.
So I did a little more digging and I came across a few articles that came out in July 2024 discussing how the film was actually a remake of Stephen King's novel Misery, a gripping psychological thriller that delves into the twisted mind of a former nurse who holds her favourite author captive. As the author struggles to escape, he realises that his biggest challenge may be surviving the wrath of his biggest fan. The remake seemed to include actors like Jenna Ortega, Barry Keoghan, and musical star The Wkndeddd, and it was being reported that the project was having trouble with finding a backing to cover its $20 million price tag. According to the report, it's been struggling in post-production for well over a year now, and no one is biting. Could the starring presence of The Wkndeddd be the issue here? His starring role in The Idol came in for some of the fiercest criticism of recent years, and perhaps the musician turned actor is in Hollywood jail. Later on it was said that Hurry Up Tomorrow would be loosely based on Misery, according to some reports. So whether it was inspired or loosely based on Misery is unknown, but maybe they changed it to make it more appealing or getting production better, but I'm not sure. But I did want to mention this theory as it is quite a popular one. So question in the comments today is, are you going to go see this movie? And what are your predictions of the outcome? And has The Idol haunted you too much that you just can't watch The Wkndeddd and anything else? But my end thought is I do think it's going to be very visually stunning. I think it's going to look very nice, and I think it's going to obviously have a great soundtrack, and I know that The Wkndeddd is a massive movie buff, so I think it's going to be a lot different than The Idol, and I generally have a lot of hope for it. So I'm very excited to see it, hopefully, fingers crossed. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!